interest-free and fee-free. This is not a payday loan. This is not from a bank. It's from a not-for-profit organisation, Good Shepherd. It's funded by the government and it's in partnership with NAB. They've just tweaked this product, which I actually am excited about because more people will be able to get it, about 1.3 million people more. So what they've done is you can now borrow instead of $1,500 up to $2,000. They've increased the term from 18 months to 24 months. And you can do it for all these, for more unexpected items as well. That's just a few of them, your dental, your car repairs. They also have a no-interest car loan of up to $5,000.
Is getting it like pulling teeth?
Ooh, drum roll. No, actually, it's not. The eligibility has been expanded too, and that's why they'll be able to capture more Aussies. So it used to be you had to have a lower income. Now you either need some type of card, like a health card or a pension card, or the income's quite high. As a couple, you can earn up to $100,000, or single up to $70,000. If you have suffered domestic abuse as well, that qualifies as well. So they've opened it up. 1.3 million more Aussies should be able to get
good.
this. It is good. Yeah.
What if you don't need a loan but you do need help budgeting?
Okay, so Savers Plus is another organisation through not-for-profit Brotherhood St Lawrence, done through ANZ. They've given $21 million out, just like this, for saving programs. I asked them, has it died down during COVID? If not, no, absolutely not. People are going into a budgeting program. It goes for 10 weeks. You set a goal, they'll match it up to $500. So I like this because they give you money as an incentive and they help you with these times.
What if you, I mean, we get emails from people throughout the day, and there are clearly people out there who are really struggling. How can people get on top of everything?
Yeah, I do want to end on that because that's really serious. We are going to see now a lot more people in mortgage stress. This was the final kind of area. So what we saw during the pandemic, remember that the banks came in and said, you know, you can go interest only, you can increase your term, you can put your mortgage on pause. This will all cost you. Don't think it's free. Yeah. But this is the number of calls now going through to the National Debt Helpline. That's that 1800 007 007. A great organisation here. Free financial counselling. They're seeing more calls, and I spoke to them last night, more in Melbourne. Melbourne's already seeing a lot of mortgage stress out there, and they're getting a lot more calls there to do with mortgage and rent. So those options I just mentioned now, if you call that line, they'll probably run through that. Call your bank if you are starting to find that the last rate hike we had the other day is impacting.
Good on you, Effie. Thank you.
Thank you, Effie.
It's a brand new hour right here on Today. Happening today, flood threats across 2 states, parts of the country on track for the wettest year in history. Your forecast live.
Church versus state. Victoria's top-ranking Catholic denounces the bombers while the boss of the AFL is defending Andrew Thorburn.
The Wog Boys are back. Star Nick Giannopoulos is live and very hairy.
And Tim Claude Van Damme, our weatherman turns stuntman, attempting this epic. Today, Thursday, the 6th of October, 2022.
That's right. Enya and Tim doing the splits on 2.
I'm just still not sure he's going to do it.
Our cup runners over
I'm
this
not
morning,
confident.
So stick around, it's all happening. At 8 o'clock this morning, Sydney is bearing the brunt of 2 dangerous weather systems crawling across the country. This is the radar forecast for the next few days. The twin storms rolling from Melbourne all the way up to Brizzy, but at Sydney, we're watching closely. This weekend on track to set a new record for the wettest year ever, another 100 mils to fall. This is a live look at Queenscliff in Manly. Wild conditions there. While inland, flood warnings for New South Wales and Victoria. It's all happening. Gabrielle Boyle is tracking the systems for us this morning. Gabby, this could continue for weeks, they say.
It could, Carl. Usually at this time of year, Bondi should be buzzing with people. The boardwalk should be packed here with people walking their dogs, exercising, and the beach should have plenty of people out and about. This morning, really, it's just a few brave surfers, a couple of people in wet weather jackets taking their dogs for a quick walk. Nothing much more than that because the conditions are really ordinary. Take a look at those grey skies. Not only are they across Sydney this morning, but over most of New South Wales. We've had a long night of rain. Some of the worst hit areas in Sydney, Holsworthy with 49 millimetres, Hornsby 47 and Wahroonga with 48 millimetres. Today in Sydney it's not going to be much better. Some parts copping 15 mil, and there are weather warnings in place and flood warnings in place right across New South Wales. Some of those areas where people are told to be on high alert, the Upper Hunter, the Lower Hunter, the Darling and Macquarie and Lachlan areas. Earlier on the show, we heard from the SES and the message is clear: stay away from all floodwaters.
just start being prepared for what they need to do. Understand what the flood risk is where you are. Have your important personal belongings ready to go if needed, and follow the advice of New South Wales SES if you are asked to take action.
Carl, we are told in the next few days it should ease off a bit, but these grey skies here in Bondi and across Sydney are showing no sign of easing at any stage today.
Gabby, thank you.
We have breaking news just in now, an exclusive. The federal government is shutting down the idea of ditching stage 3 tax cuts set to put more money in your pocket from 2024, well, some people's pocket. And here's an example of the division the Labor camp is showing this morning.
I don't think they can afford to do that at all. I don't know whether they're going to change their view, but any government that sat down in this environment and said they weren't going to review all of the policy settings in light of what's gone on will be sticking its head in the sand.
We've not changed our position in relation to stage 3 tax cuts. In fact, they're not obviously to take effect for almost 2 years, but we've committed to that position, and nothing's changed since we made that commitment.
Federal politics reporter Reece D'Alessandro has more in Canberra this morning. One thing is clear, and that is that there are mixed messages coming from the Labor Party right now, Reece.
Sylvia, this was an election commitment, these personal tax cuts for workers earning up to $200,000. They were introduced by the previous government, and the current government said during the election it had no plans to make any changes to them. However, given the state of the economy has changed so drastically since the 21st of May, there are now questions as to whether it's still the right move. Now, the Treasurer refused to rule out making changes to the scheme earlier this week, leaving the door open to future amendments. A number of senior government ministers have since been insisting over the past 2 days their position has not changed. The plan will cost the budget around $244 billion. So there's also some suggestion this morning, while it won't necessarily be scrapped, it could potentially be scaled back. Either way, Sylvia, you can bet the opposition will hold the government to its election promise, and we'll find out when the budget's delivered on October 25 whether it will keep to that commitment.
Not long to wait then. Reece, thank you. The federal government's plan to repatriate family members of Islamic State fighters is this morning coming under fire from some members of Australia's largest Syrian community. The move is being labelled irresponsible and offensive by migrants who fled Syria and Iraq to Western Sydney to escape ISIS. The Deputy Mayor of Fairfield in Sydney's West says those who escaped conflict can never forgive those who travelled to help persecute them overseas.
Keep your feedback coming in on that one. A discrimination debate has arisen in the wake of Andrew Thorburns' resignation from Essendon Football Club. Today's Christina Hearn is in Melbourne for us. Chris, opinions divided there this morning.
Seems like everyone's got a say on this saga, Carl. This after Andrew Thorburn quit as Essendon CEO after just 24 hours in the job after he was told to choose between his faith and his footy because he is chairman of a church with very strong anti-abortion and anti-gay views. Those views that have been labelled by the Victorian Premier as hateful bigotry. But on the other side of the fence, the Catholic Archbishop of Melbourne, Peter Comensoli, has hit out at the Premier for stirring up division. He's so angry about what Essendon has made Andrew Thorburn do that he says he is not going to renew his Bombers membership. But let's have a listen to what some people had to say on the streets this morning about this controversy.
I think it's a mess. I don't think they should have ever got into this situation. I think the board should have done a lot more due diligence.
It's really important that Essendon aligns with their own values in who they hire.
Federal opposition leader Peter Dutton believes that Andrew Thorburn should be reinstated as CEO as the spotlight falls on Bombers chairman David Burham for overseeing yet another mess. Carl?
Christine, thank you.
Queensland's casinos could soon become cashless with recommendations made in a new report on Star Entertainment. Mia Glover is outside the Star on the Gold Coast. Mia, good morning. What's triggered this review?
Morning again, Alex. There's no noisy or loud motorbikes this hour, so I will be able to handle it all. But yes, this review was prompted by a pretty damning report that was issued down in New South Wales in regards to the Star Entertainment Group's operations down there. It found just a few weeks ago that the Star Entertainment Group was unsuitable to hold a casino licence in New South Wales. So today, Queensland has its turn. We had a similar review happen here back in August for around a week or so of hearings, so it'll be interesting to see what comes of that report. We are expecting around 12 recommendations or so. One of them is for the Queensland casinos that are operated by the Star could go cashless. So people will be coming in and not